What could possibly drive an 11-year-old girl to kill? Was it pure evil? Or was it the tragic result of years of unimaginable neglect and abuse? Let's step back in time to the late 1960s in the quiet town of Newcastle, where one of Britain's most chilling crimes shocked the world. This is the haunting, heartbreaking story of Mary Bell, a seemingly innocent young girl hiding a dark and tragic secret. To really understand Mary's story, we have to understand the world she was born into. Newcastle in the 1960s was a town of grit and resilience, a place where post-war struggles, unemployment, crime, addiction, left a lasting mark on everyone. For many children like Mary, life was a brutal fight for survival, and there was no one to protect them. Mary's childhood was a nightmare. Her mother, Betty Bell, was a sex worker who reportedly tried to give Mary away more than once. By the age of 5, Mary had already experienced severe physical abuse, neglect, and was even forced into disturbing situations by her own mother. It was May 25, 1968, started like any other day. The sky was a dull gray, and the streets were filled with the chatter of children playing, but for 4-year-old Martin Brown, it was his last. Martin, with his tousled hair and playful smile, spent his morning running between friends' houses, unaware that someone was waiting for him. Mary, just a day shy of her 11th birthday, with her friend Norma Bell, no relation, lured Martin into an abandoned house. And there they strangled him. When his body was found, the authorities thought it was just an accident, a child playing in a dangerous place. They had no idea what darkness was lurking just beneath the surface. But Mary wasn't finished. Just days after Martin's death, a local nursery school was broken into and vandalized. What Mary and Norma left behind at the scene looked like child's play, notes that read things like, "We killed Martin Brown." At first, the police thought it was just a sick joke from troubled kids, but those notes were a clue, and the authorities didn't see it in time. By then, it was already too late. The taunts didn't stop there. Mary began bragging about Martin's death to her classmates, even telling one boy, "I'm a murderer." But these claims were brushed off as childish imagination. It wasn't until July 31st that she struck again. This time, her target was 3-year-old Brian Howe. Mary and Norma strangled him, and then Mary returned to the scene to mutilate his body, cutting his hair, his genitals, and carving the letter M into his stomach. The brutality was beyond shocking. At first, police couldn't believe a child could commit such horrifying acts, but as they began questioning Mary, her lies and twisted fascination with the killings made it impossible to ignore. Eventually, the truth came out. When Mary was arrested, the whole nation was in shock. A trial began in December 1968, with reporters and spectators crowding the courtroom, all wanting to see the young girl who had committed such brutal acts. The evidence against Mary Bell and her friend Norma was undeniable. Experts testified that Mary showed signs of psychopathy. She was manipulative, emotionally detached, and disturbingly intelligent for someone so young. As the trial unfolded, her chilling defiance stunned the court. Norma, her friend, was acquitted, but Mary was convicted of manslaughter due to diminished responsibility and sentenced to life in detention. At just 11 years old, she became one of the youngest killers in British history to be sentenced for such heinous crimes. The British press, of course, labeled her the Devil Child, sensationalizing her crimes and stirring up moral panic about youth delinquency. Her case also shed light on flaws in the juvenile justice system, which eventually led to reforms on how young offenders were treated in the UK. After serving 12 years, Mary was released in 1980 at the age of 23. But to protect her from the media circus, she was given a new identity. That brings up a bigger question. Do child offenders deserve a chance at a fresh start, or does the public have the right to know who they are? Mary's story didn't end there. In the 1990s, her identity was leaked to the press, forcing her to disappear once again. And in an unexpected turn, Mary became a mother herself. It raised a lot of questions. Could someone with her past ever be trusted to raise a child? But Mary's case isn't just about crime. It's about what happens when a child is left to face unimaginable neglect and abuse. She didn't come into this world as a killer. She was shaped by a broken system, one that ignored her cries for help until it was too late. The story of Mary Bell is not just a tale from the past. It's a warning for the future, and it challenges us to think deeply about how we treat the most vulnerable members of society before it's too late.